with, hey, this is Monday, November 9th and Tuesday, November 10th, depending on which class it is. My advanced class, we're going to be going over, let's see, fun thing. We're going to do the quick quiz review. You guys did well on it, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. We're going to reintroduce gambling today, which makes things all kinds of fun. We're going to talk about haiku. We're going to talk about flirting in our poem today, about gloves and lions and flirting and death. And then maybe if things go well, we're going to get a chance to have a taunt battle between you guys and me. We're going to use poetry to attack each other. I've got all kinds of fun things planned. And then, of course, half the kids decided on death, and they're not even here for me to taunt. What a sad day. Anyway, back to here. Let's see, blah, blah, B points, blah. Oh, yeah, and apparently my living children are all excited because you can check their grades with them. I realize that I have a lot of kids failing my class. Yeah, there's some, I have like 10 in one class. There's a lot of children fail. Not in this class. I think the lowest one in this class is like a C. But my other classes, yeah, I have kids who have just turned in no work all year. Sophia, I said failing a class and you raised your hand. What's up, Sophia?
Well, I just want to ask, because I usually when I'm at school, I always check to see who is failing. So how many people are failing the classes?
According to Avery, her rough estimate is 10 people have Fs. That seems a little low to me because I'm pretty sure I have like 7 in one class, but we'll stick with 10 if that works for people. Yeah, I have a lot of classes where kids just turn in no work. There you go. Well, that's all. What kind of polar art? Never mind. Can't keep making fun of kids. We'll spend all day doing because some kids are lazy, which we're going to talk about a little bit with the quiz today. Sorry, Elena was asking how is this possible, so I was giving you the quick and dirty explanation. There we go. Speaking of kids who have not turned in stuff from before, so if you have not turned in this, I will be making you stand. But for those of you who are at home, I get to make you stand coming up later on in the week, just that you're aware. So make sure you turn in things, and then don't forget to send me email. If you don't send me email, I have to torture you and stuff like that. Oh, there is no IXL this week. So in case you were wondering, I'm not doing a new IXL. The bad news is I am giving you a different homework assignment. So a non-IXL homework. Living children, you already saw it. It's the one that I just handed out to you on that white piece of paper. Not so living children, I'll be giving you your homework later on Thursday. The good news is it's not IXL. The other gooder news is it's like actual like, it requires drawing and thinking and making fun of people and stuff like that. I think on some level you guys will still enjoy it. I said making fun of people, and Nate raised his hand. What's up? Yes. All right, and then there. So, doing quick, speedy version. Well, Elena, I try to make it really hard to fail my class, but some kids are up to the challenge, and there you go. Challenge accepted. And they go, what if I turn in nothing? And I go, well, then I make you stand. They go, what if I don't come to school and I'm a virtual kid? I'm like, ooh, well played. So I can only do so much by yelling at kids. But if I'm not physically there to poke them with a stick, some kids are, I have some kids who still have like not turned in like quizzes going back like months. They're just like, you can't control me, old man. So, you know, kids. But here, again, on this quiz, if you were on this kids who bombed it, you do get a chance to redo it if you want. We're going to go through and answer it today. The drawback is for the 5 of you I yelled at for not turning it in, now the highest grade you can get is a 22 out of 26. Unless you just turned it in, you need to make sure you email me and say, Mr. Broviak, I finished it before you went over the answers, and then I can check the timestamp on it. Otherwise, the highest grade you get is a 22, because I'm assuming you're listening to me go over the answers, which is fine. I'm just giving you a heads up. You had to be done before this moment, or you're going to be out of luck. Here is how gambling comes in. So we've already gone through and been doing the thing where you guys had to figure out, did we get above or below the 90%, which I've already enjoyed. But here's where you get a chance to gamble on it. I will tell you, we had one really high grade and then the one really low grade. You may gamble one time and say which one you think is the really high grade or the really low grade. If you pick correctly, you get 3 B points. If you pick incorrectly, I charge you a B point. So just one. So it's just a 3-to-1 ratio. Winning gets you 3, losing loses 1. but you only get one attempt at it. So if we get to like question 4 and you're like, this is the low one, and you lose a B point. And if we get to the next one and you're like, this is obviously the high one, you can't gamble again. You only get one shot at your gamble. So you have to make sure, and if you don't want to gamble, you don't have to. If you're like, Mr. Bro, yeah, gambling is wrong and evil. Well, then I'm so proud of you, Boo. No gambling for you. But for the rest of you, you get home children. I will ask you guys if you are wanting to gamble after each question also. And I ask you before I show you what the answer is. And at that time, you're gonna have to either raise your hand or do the Kyra, where you spastically move your arms around in some way so I can tell that it's you. And then you go in there and tell me, hey, this is what you're wanting to do, and we get a chance to converse. And again, if we choose poorly, it does do impact learning. But there's only 4 of you. So as long as the 4 of you agree, then you should be good to go. If not, there's no one to blame but the 4 of you. All right. Are we good to go now, home children? We've covered all that. You guys are raising hands. All right. Just wanted to make sure. Here we go. Question 1. What 2 nouns are being compared in the metaphor of line 14? Line 14 said, crushing the delicate flower. Oh, home children. Again, this is where you get to unmute. If you want to do the yelling at me thing, you can do the yelling at me thing, and I'm fine with that. We get a chance to do the whole Bondi thing that brings you happiness again. Says, crushing the delicate flowers in our children's souls. What are the 2 nouns?
Flowers and souls.
Flowers and children's soul.
Flowers and souls.
Children's souls?
No, just souls.
No, just souls.
All right, got excited. Someone said children's souls. All right. I agree there. Flowers to souls. Now, here's where the question comes in. If you say, I would say you can, oh wait, hang on. I think I did it here. All right. So here's EV information. We have one low one that was at 68. We had 2 high ones that were at 100. So you have to pick which one you think is the 100 one or the one you think is the 68 one. If you can pick
Didn't
those
you
correct,
say there was 2 100 ones though?
there is, but I'm going to tell you, hang on, Evie's now alive. I'll tell you why you only get to pick one of them.
Couldn't we do like a double or nothing if we wanted to?
No, not yet. Maybe eventually. This is my first day playing this game. I can't do it yet. Yeah. Stop distracting me. I gotta yell at Evie for showing up late. That was Evie.
I was at a doctor's appointment.
Oh, were you?
Mhm.
Okay. And that'll pop up when I check for you. All right. Well, then I'm glad you're here now, Evie. Welcome. All right. So now, for this one, do I have anyone who wants to gamble and say this was either the highest or the lowest? And the reason why you only get a chance to bet on one of the 100s, I'll explain at the very end, and it'll make sense. We'll come back to this and be like, oh, that makes sense. And I'll tell you why that. All right. So no one's. Kyra, are you waving your hands? Kyra, you can unmute yourself and literally just talk like a normal human.
Well,
So Kyra,
okay, anyways. I think this one's one of the highest.
so you say this is one of the 100s?
Yeah.
All right. Well, if she's right, she gains points. Wow, you guys are all angry at poor Kyra. All right. So I have Kyra saying this one, no one else?
Nope.
Good for the-
It's above 90.
Hang on. So Rise tagging in also?
It's above 90.
All right, so I have 2 kids gambling on this one. Find out. My next question is above
Above.
or below 90,
Above.
or you can say right at, that gives us from like 87 to 93. We're all saying above? And 97, you are correct. But that is not 100, which does charge Rye 1 point.
I hate.
It's the worst. Society is the worstest thing ever. All right, question 2. What 2 nouns are being compared in the metaphor of line 11? Line 11 says, horns rising from my forehead, they are small pointy cones of hate. First off,
Horns and cones.
horns and cones? Horns and- all right. I would agree. Do I have anyone gambling on this as the highest or lowest? And all right, are we above or below 90?
Right in the middle.
I see. And you thumb, make it vertical.
Below.
And nice, so 97%. It was good, but not a perfect. 3. Oh, that's out of order. Not there. Which of the following is the best example of alliteration that is actually in the poem? Evil Teacher.
The third one. The third one.
This one right here. My big eyes burning as bright as the red button. We agree. I agree. All right.
I'm going to say that. I'm gambling.
Ooh, we have a gamble.
This is not it. It's gamble.
Are you going?
Not it. I'm going.
You're saying this is the perfect score?
Yeah, but this is a perfect score.
Eli is saying this is the perfect score.
I don't know why, but I know it.
Anyone else gambling?
Nope.
No. Wow, Maddie says with Sophia. Is that bravery or not, Sophia? Are you gambling, Sophia? You have to unmute yourself. I need you to verbally confirm.
I'll gamble.
All right, Rush is gambling also. All right, let's find out. Are we above or below 90? And 92%. That was not an easy one.
I mean, that's easy.
I'm not disagreeing with you. This is the part where I'm glad that you guys feel the same way I do. And you're like, what kind of kid? Except if, unless you're the kid that missed it, then I'm sorry you missed it. I don't mean to make fun of you. I don't know what to tell you. Next up, what would be the rhyme scheme of the first 5 lines of the poem Evil Teacher? If I have it, there you go. So, what does it start with? And then B, then C, then A, and all right, nicely done. A, B, C, A, D. Anyone gambling here?
Nope. No way. I missed it.
And apparently we've scared off our gamblers. That's how it works. Are we above or below 90?
Oh, that's right out there. Right in the middle.
Right in the middle. And what are you voting, Ryan? Do we have right in the middle? Is incorrect. 82.
No.
This is one of our lowest ones. I'm not the one that answered it. I feel the same. I don't. Question 5. In one of the 7, which line is the best evidence that the speaker does not hate the girl?
If I were number 3. If I were to The third one.
We weren't afraid to hurt the feelings.
I'm gonna give
The third one.
Third one. I would agree. All right. Oh, where are you gambling? You are saying
I'm gambling.
we have a gambler here.
I'm gonna
Hang
gamble
on.
too.
I'm gambling.
Hang on. I have Connolly gambling and home children. I'm gonna need you to put your hand like right up to the screen so I can see which ones. And I have Maddie is gambling. How exciting. Is that it? Maddie's my only home gambler. Oh, and Sydney, is that you?
I'm
Sid, with
gambling
it?
as well. Well, can we
Hang on.
gamble for like the highest one, I think, and the lowest one? Or
You
just
only get
one?
one time. You get to pick, but you want to go for the high or the low. Elena, I have you on there also. Ledford, what a fun one now. Ledford, we're adding you also. So Watkins, is that yes, gamble Watkins? No. Okay, make sure. So as of now, I have Connolly, Cooper, Ledford, Loud, Miller. We're not leaving for 15 minutes. Standing. All right. No one else? Making sure? I'm assuming you guys are all saying this is the 100% one, right?
Yeah.
You can hang on.
High one.
Find out. Wait, are you guys saying above or below 90? Above 90? And well done. That was the 100% one. Nicely done. What's up, my kid? We can't do anything until the end of the day. I can give, how about I give Avery 3 B points? Yeah. And Nate 3 B points, and Ledford, and Lau, and Miller. That's my daughter. Me either. Well done, those of you who gambled on that one. It paid off. I can give you a hug. You can come look at home children if that works also. I can smack a thing. All I have to offer. What did he say? Wow.
No, I didn't say you're ugly. I said they're very ugly. I said I was. I was like, thank you. I appreciate that.
That was like a bold attack. Look at those home children. You want to show them that we're going to amputate
No,
later?
I'm not showing them until those people turn their time.
They don't turn them on, anything like that.
Why? They're so lame.
I'm not, wow, you just called those kids lame just because you have a broken, there you go. See, nice to do. Kyra, what's up?
So for this one, I feel offended that you're relating the letter K and being a weasel.
Wow, that's, I'm not sure why you would take offense to that. Sit down.
One.
How'd that work out?
Not well, you can't push me.
I hip checked you, it's completely different.
There is still a thing where I'm in so much pain I can randomly fall.
That happens to everyone.
No, it isn't.
I agree on that too.
Amputate my wrist.
Back to here. Focusing we have, what two nouns are being compared in line 16?
It's the third one.
And I mean as a weasel,
The third one.
the speaker and a weasel.
The third one. The third one.
Wait, is it the third one?
Yes. The third one.
Never mind, on that one I messed up. It came out of order. I blame Rutsito for yelling at me multiple times, and that was the grid job. It was the third one, and it was 85%. We did not get a chance to gamble on this one because I have a daughter. I'm gonna blame her also. But yes, you were correct on that one. And I was not the one that was comparing a K and a weasel. That would have been the wrong answer, Kyra. Sassy child.
Hey, Kyra, your name now starts with a C.
Question 7. What is the best evidence from the poem Caterpillar to prove that a rook is a type of bird?
It crows or
The fourth one. It's the fourth one. The fourth one. It's the fourth one.
Is correct. Are we above or below 80?
Above 80.
Above
90.
80. Above 90.
Or above 90? Hang on. Uh-oh. Are you saying below? Above. All right. Do I have anyone gambling on this one?
Nope.
All right. And 95%. Nicely done.
Get out.
Which of the following similes would most likely be one that could have been from the poem Caterpillar? So none of these were, but knowing the poem and what happens, which one could have been from that poem?
Number 5.
It's the fourth one.
This one?
No, number 5.
Hang
It's
on,
the
let me
fourth
go
one.
through
Don't listen to Nate. It's the fourth one.
We're already having issues. I see a gamble coming up. So hang on.
It's the
Hand me
fourth
that one.
one.
It's the fourth one.
Nate, be quiet. It's the
It
fourth
is the fourth
one.
one.
I'm
No.
going to go through, explain me which
Valerie,
one to make sure. The
You're
rain
so
knocked him
defensive
off,
of
so
your
it's like a
answers.
sledgehammer.
No,
Why does that not work?
because he didn't get knocked off the lead.
Doesn't get knocked off, all right? The caterpillar was as scared as a little girl at night.
He wasn't scared
That
at
would work
all.
also, all right? He was as hungry as a starving man on an island.
No.
All right? The caterpillar was a crazy little eating machine.
Yes, no, because he was eating a whole.
Close. That's not why it was wrong.
And it's a metaphor.
That's why it's wrong.
That's
That's a
what I said.
metaphor. That's a simile. And so you can't use a metaphor. It has to be the simile one.
You never said something about his.
Valerie. Got
All right. Are we, wait, is anyone gambling on this one?
Nope.
All right.
I'm good.
And are we above or below 90?
Yeah, because
Do I have, no one's voting? Going once, right in the middle, is my only vote.
wait, what's happening?
And
Oh, it's.
did you jab yourself in the eye?
Yes, you went
That's
so
awesome.
blunt.
If only we had voted next up.
You're welcome. I voted and then you hit it.
Yeah, you waited too late.
No.
You mailed in your ballot after we closed the poll. Which of the following is not a good example of a simile or metaphor from the Evil Teacher poem? So you have line 11, orange rising from my forehead.
Number 2.
Psalm 20, 28.
It's not a good.
the third one.
Number.
It's answer 3.
Yeah, that was not actually in the poem.
Exactly why.
Yeah, so that's not one you can choose.
Okay, so number 3. You're
And
welcome.
then 9, got the B points. Hello Kitty B points gripped in my evil fingers like a pink clipboard.
What is a clipboard?
And then you have 14, crushing the delicate flowers out of our children's souls. Line 10, my big eyes burning as bright as the red button of a dying Xbox. So cannot be a simile or a metaphor. So which one is it?
Line number 3. I mean, line 9. but
Why is
answer
that?
3.
Why is that bad?
Because it's not comparing anything. It's just telling you.
And it's correct. Nicely done. Anyone gambling on this is the hardest one?
Nope.
Yes. Oh, I can't.
You can't gamble.
All right, then are we
You're under 8.
above or below 90?
Above.
Uh-oh. I have two.
Above. This one is in the middle. This one is
We are definitely below at 79%.
so easier. Wow.
Did actually, you guys chose correctly.
Yeah, I did it.
And using the tone of the poem, which the following is least likely to be an example of something we
Number
might find the
3.
speaker doing.
Actually, giving a bandage.
Why would that not work in the poem?
Because he's not happy, and he wouldn't give band-aids to child. He would cut the child.
You are correct. Anyone gambling on this is the toughest or the easiest?
I'm gonna say it's in the middle.
No, you've already gambled, Rush. You don't get to gamble again. I know you're already addicted. This is how we prevent people from having an addiction. All right, so no one gamble. Are we above or below 90?
Oh no, he's gonna.
I need to see. If I don't see thumbs, I see 2 ups. All right. And hang on. Nope, I used a kid at home. Owen broke the tie. Rowan. Owen says up and Owen broke the tie. Nicely done, Owen. 97%. Not the perfect. It was still not the 100. Still one kid got it wrong. It was good, but not a 100. 11. What would be the rhyme scheme of the first 5 lines of any poem that has no rhyming?
This is the lowest one.
Hang on. First off, what's the answer? There you go. A, B.
No, I didn't take the test the second time. Why not?
I'm gonna gamble. It's very stupid, but I'm stupid, so I'll go for it.
Wow. All right. Are you gambling this was the lowest one or this was the highest one, Carson?
I'm gonna say lowest.
All right, you're saying this is the lowest one. Is anyone else gambling?
I'm not gambling. I can't gamble. I can't gamble, but I'm gonna say it's
All right. Are we above or below 90?
It's below 90.
Looking at thumbs, say below, below, above, and that gives me 2 below, 3 belows.
Below, people.
Is incorrect. 95%. So yeah. Sorry, Carson. It was just the opposite. It was almost the best one we had. Question 12. Using the poem Spider, going through it, figure out the rhyme scheme for the entire poem. And then all I wanted was the rhyme scheme down here at the very end. Down there, KKLL.
This is below 90 for people.
Do I have anyone gambling on this?
I know. We didn't.
Any volunteers to gamble? Nope. No gambling. No gambling here.
It's below.
And are we above or below 90?
Below.
Below. And you said below. And
I saved you guys.
question 13. From the caterpillar poem was the best evidence to prove that the speaker is a caterpillar.
Number 3.
Oh,
Number 1.
So which one is the caterpillar?
Yeah.
Which one? 3? Why is that the best evidence to prove it's a caterpillar?
Because ain't nothing else to bring the hungry hairy caterpillar one was wrong.
Okay.
And the other ones don't say anything wrong with being a caterpillar.
So we're going to look at this one.
That got it right. Because I took the quiz again and got it right. Okay.
I'll build because it says I am building a leaf green. So he says I'm building a cocoon. So that's how you know that was approving of the speaker.
Nobody got a gamble on this one because I got it wrong. I got it wrong too.
Yeah, that is very true. You also can't build a cocoon.
I mean, it never said anything.
Do I have anyone? Watkins, what's up, Watkins?
Lowest one, I think.
Ooh, So Watkins is coming in on betting. All right, Watkins. Do I have anyone else gambling? You cannot. And
I can't gamble.
you cannot. All right, just Watkins on the gamble?
Wait, can I say something
Wait.
about the quiz?
Uh-huh.
So, technically, people can build system models for you because you can paint.
Are we above or below 90?
Below.
And yeah, this was the one that almost everybody missed. Well done on that one, Watkins. You just gained 3 points. Why did everyone miss this? I have no idea. I thought this was an easy question. I can go back and look in a moment. 14. From the 1 to 7 poem we read in class was the worst evidence to help a reader figure out the speaker. Things can gradually slip back to normal. We agree on that one. And
Yes, because all the other ones are explaining that
you are correct.
above
Above or below 90? You're right in the middle. I only have one person voted. Oh, there we go. I have 2 aboves, 3 aboves, and
You're
above
welcome.
90. Nicely done.
How could you miss that?
And the last one, the best example of alliteration from the 5th stanza would be?
Of what? With white wings. The caterpillar poem?
Yep, going back to the caterpillar poem.
Okay, that's fine.
What's the
With
answer
white
first?
wings beating quarter flutter. With white wings beating quarter flutter. Because
The third one.
the same sound.
This was how many kids were too lazy to go back and look it up. Are we above or below 90?
Time for them.
What did you guys say the answer is? Yeah, this was our other 100%.
You're welcome.
Nicely done.
I didn't do that.
Because I knew you guys would know by that point, so well done. Rush, what's up, Rush?
So they can get this one 100%, but the other alliteration one, they didn't get 100%, and that was the one that I was like, oh, I'm gonna bet on this one, but
Right?
they get this 100%.
Aren't kids frustrating? I feel the same way. All right, we're gonna go to lunch, and we're gonna come back with more fun. We actually have kind of fun things we're gonna get to with our stuff today. So we'll see you guys after lunch. There you go. Okay, pause the recording. Pause recording. And we're back from lunch. It was yummy and delicious. Now we get to go back to more learning with actual poetry things. If you didn't get food, that sounds like a you issue, not a me issue. All right. On handouty things, right below where it has the 1 of the 7 has somewhat to say, I'm going to touch on haiku, which is the thing that's right below it. In theory, most of you should probably have seen haiku at some point prior to now. If you have never experienced haiku before, you're in for a treat. We'll teach you guys how to do haiku. Hiccup. If you have done haiku, then it'll be just a quick review for you. Let me give you a little introduction to how haiku work. Haiku. A haiku is a 3-line poem of Japanese origin containing 17 syllables. So always 3 lines, and it always has 17 syllables. There are 5 syllables in the first line, 7 syllables in the second line, and 5 syllables in the third line. So 5, 7, 5. Such a poem must communicate meaning through very few words, because you have less than 17 words, and should only have 1 idea per haiku. So Gesundheit, very short poem, conveys 1 idea, and that is it. The subject matter of a haiku is usually drawn from nature. As we're going to talk about in a moment, they don't always have to be nature, but they should be allowed from nature. And below that one, it has like 3 examples of them. Renzo's alive. Let's let Renzo come back in. So there's 3 examples of haiku down there, and then I'm going to go through and talk about some more here in just a second to help you out. So to do county things, look on screen as opposed to paper, because I have different ones on screen than down there on the paper. So here's my first haiku to show you guys. It says, little piggy's arm rolling around in the mud, I hear the oinking. Total is 3 lines, 1, 2, 3. And then this is, I'm gonna have to unmask for a second, just to show you guys how the whole syllables thing works. It has to have 17 syllables and 5 in the first line. So a syllable is every time your mouth opens saying a word counts as a syllable. So not how many words are in it, but breaking each word into syllables. There are different ways to count syllables. One is clapping monkey method, and clapping monkey method is where you do the whole counting as you go through. How many syllables? And you do the little clapping thing as you go through. Probably the thing a lot of you guys learned in 3rd grade. Then, if you're not sure how many syllables are in a word, like the word impossible, you're like, impossible? I don't know. Every time your jaw comes down is a syllable in a word. So you can do impossible. Gives you a total of 4 syllables in that one. So you can feel it. We just learned how counting works. So every time the jaw drops, that counts. So you try to figure out, you're like, how many in precious? Precious, 2. So you can count it that way. Now, when you count them, make sure your hand does not go up at the same time and go impossible, 17. So make sure your hand stays straight. You're going to mess up your counting as you go through. Or precious, 4. It doesn't. So again, keep jaw down as you go through. Eventually, you will upgrade yourself to just being able to use your fingers. And you can go impossible, skillsies, and you can count them that way. So as you go through, you have little piggies are rolling around in the mud. I hear the oinking. Gives you 5, 7, 5. It is all about one idea, and that one idea is all about nature, because pigs are nature. So anything that is not man-made should qualify as nature. Taking a look at another one. Broken and broken again on the sea, the moon so easily mends. Broke again. You can look at the one on your paper, it's the same one. Oh my God, learn it. Broken and broken again on the sea, the moon so easily mends. So that 5, 7, 5, all about one thing. That one is supposed to be like out at the beach and then watching the moon reflect off the water at nighttime when the wave comes in and it goes like, when it breaks apart on this crashing of the wave, it comes all back together again. You're like, it's so pretty. That's what they're referring to. And my last one. Squirrels are in the trees. I can hear their chattering. I dodge the acorns. Squirrels are in the trees. I can hear their chattering. I dodge the acorns. So it gives you 5, 7, 5. Now, I'm going to give you a broken haiku. Let's see if you can figure out what is broken about this haiku. And rocks are really hard. They are used to hold down grass. Some are just brown. Our issue with this haiku. Right.
First, there's actually an issue with the third one. Squirrel.
Yeah, that's only one syllable. Yeah, you doing it multiple times doesn't change. It's still only one syllable.
I think it has 8 syllables.
What about it?
That's 4 syllables. Yeah, so that's why.
Well, you didn't say that. You just said the fourth one. So agreed. So this one says some are just brown as 4. Rocks are really hard.
Not really them.
Counting is hard. Counting is
I
hard.
hate haikus. You have to count.
So on that one you have, so how would we fix that third line to make it so it makes more sense?
I really.
Some rocks.
You're just brown turd.
That is a way of fixing it. Valerie or Kyra, was one of the two of you yelling at me a second ago? No, I thought, Valerie, did you have a way of fixing it that does not involve inserting the word turd?
I said some rocks are just brown.
That would work much better. Some rocks are just brown. Nicely done. Next haiku. Figure out what is wrong with this one. The dogs are jumping. Look, the tree is over there.
It's about multiple things. It's not just one idea.
You are correct. This is my ADHD haiku where it jumps around. You have dogs, you've got trees, you've got fish. It's not all focused on the one. You have to all focus down to one thing to make it work. Nice to them. but all the counting is correct. I mean, for people who can count. And the third one, cell phones are so cool. I love texting all my friends. Read my words, people. Issues with this one?
There's nothing wrong with it.
There is something wrong with it.
The punctuation at the end.
You can have exclamation marks that bring you happiness. Correct. It is not about nature. Because once again, haiku are supposed to be about nature. Cell phones don't grow on trees. Correct. They're supposed to be about nature. Now, given, I'm hoping we're going to read a poem real quick. And then I have a thing where we're going to use haiku to battle each other. I'm going to introduce you to the world of battle haiku. Where you use haiku to attack other people. As an example, that kid cannot count. Numbers are not, let me see. Those numbers are not his friend. I wonder who it. Oh. It is that kid you know. That seems mean. That kid could be you. That kid could be you. And then we're going to use our haikus to battle each other like that. It's funny because I was targeting you. And so you'll get a chance with your battle haiku. You also get a chance to get B points. When we do battle haiku, if you're brave enough to read your battle haiku out loud for other people, you have a chance of gaining up to 3 B points. Valerie, are you raising your hand or trying to keep your brain in?
I don't understand. Okay, so different. Like, is it different or different? Because it either has 2 syllables or 3.
It should just be 2, unless you're trying to pronounce it like the British way, where it's like different, but it should just be different. Different is just 2. If you always get too confused, you can always Googlinate it and you can type it in there like syllables on different, but it should just be broken up that way, unless you're British, and then that's fine with me. Then on new paper, those of you at home, you're not going to have new paper. Wait, no, I gave it to you last week. I did. So if you're not a gray child, you should have it. This is the new paper. On new paper, I believe it's on the left-hand side, there's a poem called Glove and the Lions. Did I say right-hand side? I meant the new right called left. So take a look on the left-hand side called the Glove and the Lions.
No, he said left. No, he said left.
I did say that this is the second time the two of you have lost points for yelling at each other. It's weird when we're only down to 4 kids. It's really easy to catch the ones who spend all their time yelling at each other. What a funny, yes, Squadkins, that's the one we're talking about. So we're taking a look at that poem. Let me find my copy of the poem. Your poem. Cropping black and white and deathly bits. Aha. Look at that, it's on the left-hand side. It's like, as we go through, we're going to figure out what poem is about, what goes into it, similes, metaphors, learning, fun stuff like that. I'm going to read a whole poem first, and then we're going to break down per stanza. Here's what I want you to figure out. Who is in poem? Where is poem taking place? And possibly what's happening in poem. But definitely in the first stanza, where is it taking place? Who's in it? And then figure out what's going on in that first stanza. The Glove and the Lions. Oh, James Lee Hunt. Is that the speaker in the poem?
No.
Who is James Lee Hunt? That would be the author, writer person. By the way, there is no speaker in this poem. This is a speaker-free poem. It is just a poem that tells a story. King Francis was a hardy king and loved a royal sport, and one day as his lions fought, sat looking on the court. The nobles filled the benches with the ladies in their pride, and amongst them sat the Count Dolores with one for whom he sighed. And truly 'twas a gallant thing to see that crowning show, valor and love and a king above, and the royal beasts below. Ramped and roared the lions with horrid laughing jaws. They bit, they glared, gave blows like beams of wind with their paws. With walloping might and stifled roar, they rolled on one another, till all the pit with sand and mane was in a thunderous smother. The bloody foam above the bars came whisking through the air. Said Francis then, "Faith, gentlemen, were better here than there. Dolores' love o'erheard the king, a beauteous lively dame, with smiling lips and sharp bright eyes, which always seemed the same. She thought the count my lover is as brave can be. He surely would do wondrous things to show his love of me. King, ladies, lovers, all look on. The occasion is divine. I'll drop my glove to prove his love. Great glory will be mine. She dropped her glove to prove his love, then looked at him and smiled. He bowed in a moment, leaped among the lions wild. The leap was quick, return was quick. He has regained his place. Then threw the glove, but not with love, right in the lady's face. By heaven, said Francis, rightly done. And he rose from where he sat. No love, quoth he, but vanity, says love a task like that. Exactly. That's why I like choosing the poem, and then we read it and go, Mr. Broviak, that made no sense. And then we break it down, and you go, Mr. Broviak, that poem was fun. So let's begin. Step one, stanza one. Where is our poem taking place? Why France? Good. There was also a British King Francis, though. But I like you going with that one. But I was thinking more specifically, like a school, a spaceship, a cave. Nicely done. Rush, are you raving? Are we struggling with our iPad today, Rush? It seems to be going all over the place. Rush, what's up?
Never mind.
I
thought I had the answer, but I might be wrong.
Well, be brave, Rush. What do you think the answer is?
Like where they were, I think it's like they're like at like a court of some place.
Not a bad guess. We're actually going to make a reference to that. So where it says the sport is it does talk about the court from there, and you said it talks place. What are they watching happen?
A lion.
So that's where the Coliseum comes in. So story taking place in this giant Coliseum they used to have in the days, and they're watching a whole bunch of lions fight each other. Characters in poem, who do we have as, and again, those of you who are home children, if you would like to participate in the Yelling at Mr. Broviak game, I invite you to play the game with me. You said, who is one of them? King Francis? All right, so we have King Francis, who is one of our main ones. Hang on 1 second, I have to replace my tissues. No, you're fine. I have more tissues right back over here.
Oh, wait. AKA the Lord. Who is the Lord? No, the Lord is love.
Hang on, back up. Before we jump to that, let's do this. The word monks, you know what that it means? Among. By the way, why did they cut off that first thing, you know?
Yeah, right.
Ooh,
No,
not bad.
because
If it helps, it connects to haiku.
Oh, it does?
It does.
I thought it just didn't want it to say and
It is correct. It's to shorten the syllable count in that, because this is the type of poem that you can only have a certain number of syllables in each line. No, but I said your hint came from haiku. We just talked about syllables. Monks is one syllable. Amongst is two syllables. So they cut it off just like when you come down to this one. Twas is shortened form of,
it was
which is how many syllables?
two.
And twas is?
One.
So it was a cheat way they used to do to go through and like count their syllable count. If on these special poems, we're not making you guys write one like these, but they had a certain number of syllables you had to have in each line. So they would get kind of cheatery and they would go and just smash words together and stuff like that. So that's where the monks comes in and the twas comes in. We'll come back to that one. So you said character-wise, we have the king,
Yes, King Francis.
King Francis, who is our main character, who is in poem, who is our big special guy who's running everything. And then we have Count Dolores, who is the other fancy guy.
And then there's
And then we have the one for whom he sighed. It is nicely done. So if there's a person that you sigh for, that means that when you look at them, you get all and happy. And so it means like you like them. So not just a one level of like, but definitely two levels of like on this one. So at this point, Count Dolores and the girl who does not have a name yet, they're not officially going out. It's that thing where you see that other person in the room and you just like creepily stare at them all the time. And then every time they answer a question, you're like, ah. Or on Zoom, you creepily like highlight their pictures the entire time they're talking in class. You're just sitting there staring at them. And then every time they do something, you're just like, ah. You just sit there and stare at them like, they're so adorable. That's what he's doing, but slightly less creepy than you guys. And so it's the same idea. He has a crush on her, if you will. He just looks at her and thinks happy thoughts. Also turns out, as we get into poem, Count Dolores is like the resident hottie of the place. Apparently, he's the hot dude in the class. King Francis, not the hot dude. He's just like the king dude. And then below him is all the other people, but Count Dolores is like the ultimate hot guy. And so we have Count Dolores, ultimate hot guy, and then chick that he has winky eye on that he's not asked out yet. We're not that far. He just sort of looks at her and gives that creepy winky face. He's like, how you doing? And giving her a creepy winky face, you know, that thing that, God, don't you give me that look like I'm crazy. It's definitely a thing that happens with creepy winky eye face. And then let's see, there are other people that are there. Those are the main ones. Did you catch who the other people are?
Noble.
There you go. The nobles and the ladies who are all these other people who are hanging out there. So imagine, this is sort of our analogy to sort of like a high school or a class. You've got king top dog, and then you have the hot dude and the one that he's flirting with, and then all of these other like popular kids that are hanging out together. Nobles back in the day were all the other popular people. You have all these popular people hanging out together, and what is it they're watching happen?
Lions kill each other.
Lions fight each other, which is the thing we're going to get to in a moment.
Fun. What do you mean, how is it fun? How is it not fun?
This was back a few years before we had Netflix. So at this time, you're correct. There was not a whole lot going on to entertain themselves. They used to actually, for entertainment, you would go take a lion and another lion and you'd smack the lions around a little bit. And you like go get them and the lions would attack each other. Was it awful? God, yes. But the other option was you'd smack a lion around. Instead of making it fight a lion, you'd make it fight a person, which was also awful. But this is what we used to do. Now we're so much better. Instead of doing that, we just do it all virtual. We call it cyberbullying. But before that, we just had like cat bullying, and the cats would attack each other, and it was all kinds of awful. Speaking of bullying, which one? Now we'll skip that one. This one. There's two meanings to this line in the poem. When it says the nobles filled the benches with the ladies in their pride. This definition of pride has two definitions. You know, one of the definitions is, yes?
Pride, one of the definitions is they're proud.
How so?
Like they're, I don't know how to explain this one, but I'll explain the other one.
Okay.
I like the other one better.
Okay.
Like lions are in a pride, and a group of lions.
You are correct. So one of the definitions referring to a bunch of lions together is called a pride of lions. You have a whole group of them there. No, it is not about nature. Well, kind of about nature, you'll see in a moment. The other definition of pride is the fact that you have all these women who are there hanging out, and they're all trying to impress all of these really popular, handsome dudes. So the girls are all dressing up to look like they're trying to wear that special outfit, you know, the one that you wear to make the guys double take whenever they see you. And you're like, what? Ooh, and you're like, that's what I'm saying. That's the outfit all the girls are trying to wear to try and bring all the attention on themselves, because they're like little peacocks and they're all proud, because the more you can get the dudes to check you out, the better chance you have of one of them asking you out. So there's a reason now the poet refers to this group of girls as a pride of lions, because if you have a bunch of girls all trying to impress the small number of dudes, how are those girls going to treat each other? There you go. The girls are not going to be nice to each other at all. They're going to be backstabbing each other like a bunch of little lions as they get all grumpy and attacky towards each other. And so because of that, he's referring to this group of noble ladies trying to impress the dudes as a bunch of lions. He's like, look, there's lions down there fighting, and there's lions up here fighting. They're using teeth and claws. They're using teeth and claws, and it sort of goes the same way. It's just as other teeth fighting each other. They're like just saying, you see what she's wearing? I know she looks good for a fat girl. And it's like saying stuff like that, like, oh, snap. And so that's like the attacking that they're doing. Don't worry, it gets worse. Stanza 2. This whole stanza is like a haiku. The whole thing is to create one image. This whole long stanza is one image. So my question, if I'm going to reread it to you, figure out what the one image is that this one stanza is trying to get across. Ramped and roared the lions with horrid laughing jaws. They bit, they glared, gave blows like beams. A wind went with their paws. With wallowing might and stifled roar, they rolled on one another, till all the pit with sand and mane was in a thunderous smother. The bloody foam above the bars came whisking through the air. Said Francis then, faith, gentlemen, we're better here than there. That whole stanza is to get one idea across. Question is, what is that one idea? Yes? You're on the right track. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Is it a good or bad thing that the lions are fighting? Not bad. So the whole stanza is showing you the fact that these lions are fighting each other. And it's not a little bit of fighting, it's a lot of fighting. They're attacking, and there's like little bits of lion flying into the air, like, I see a paw go flying past you. Like, like, was that blood? Like, that was half a lion. Like, oh my God. And so it is horrifying. It is this horrible thing that is going on there, that they're all just sitting there eating popcorn and watching and stuff like that. Now, as we go through it, skip that one. Gave blows like beams. So you have these lions down there fighting each other with their giant lion paws, and they're smacking each other. And when they hit each other, they gave blows like beams, which is a simile. Do you know what kind of beam they're referring to when it says, not a laser beam?
No, a metal beam?
Like getting closer. When you guys leave here, or those who come here, they're building a new house right across from our school. When you guys come out of the bus parking lot, like it drives right towards it. Those big things at the top that keep the house from falling down, those are called beams. Those things. So they're saying when these lions are hitting each other, it feels like someone's swinging one of those giant beams and hitting each other. That's how powerful their hits are. They're not little meow meow cats. They're not down there going like hiss hiss. They're like rawr, it's like knocking things everywhere. They're trying to do the extreme cat attack. The cats? Well, usually they would not feed the cats, and then you poke them a lot. If you've ever had a cat that you don't feed and then poke, and you throw something at it, the cat's like, and it goes after it because they find it more entertaining. Because people used to be horrible, not like today when people are so much better. So this line where he says, faith, gentlemen, we're better here than there. Where is the here he's talking about? Up in the stands. Where is the there he's talking about? So that's what he's saying. He's like, you see all this chaos happening down there. We're sitting way up here in the stands, lions fighting down there. Thank God we're here and not there, because if you were down there, what would happen to you? You'd be dead because angry cats, meow, meow, coming at you. He says, thank goodness we're up here in the safe area. I know, that's what we're getting ready to get to next. Okay. Nicely done. I am wearing my lion tie today. Hang on, little children. Meow, 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 meow. I was wearing my tie for you guys today. Stanza 3 is where things get fun. So far, we have a whole bunch of girls who are trying to flirt with dudes. We have hot dude who has his eye on a special girl. We have the fact that there's lions fighting everywhere, and they're saying, thank goodness we're up here and not down there. And remember, when girls are competing with each other to do flirty flirt, bad things happen. Let's introduce bad things into flirty flirt town. Dolores' love o'erheard the king, a beauteous, lively dame, with smiling lips and sharp bright eyes, which always seem the same. She thought, the count, my lover, is brave as brave can be. He surely would do wondrous things to show his love of me. King, ladies, lovers, all look on. The occasion is divine. I'll drop my glove to prove his love. Great glory will be mine. When it says Dolores' love, who are we referring to? Nicely done. The hot girl. By the way, what is o'er from? Nicely done. Again, trying to make it shorter. And then, is brave as brave can be. What is my issue with this simile? Nicely done. So again, it's a horrible simile trying to compare bravery to bravery, which is not a good thing at all. So I don't want you to be reading this like, Mr. Brovia, that simile is the bop, right into your throat. That is a horrible simile.
The author of this poem is a globetrotter.
Because it's got the tigers. So there's our special love. I know, well. So when she talks about dropping her glove, I've brought in a glove to demonstrate this for today.
Hey, that's from a princess costume.
It is from a princess costume. Don't judge my past life.
You have daughters. I'm not.
Dang it, I do have a daughter. So here's what it used to be. Nowadays, when you have a special someone, you can just slide into their DMs and send them a message. But back in the day, we didn't have DMs. That was not a thing you could do. So if direct messaging on social media and stuff like that. And so back in the day, if you were wanting to do flirty flirt with someone and you were a girl, you had your special princess gloves that you would wear. And the way that you would do flirty flirt, you would take off your glove and then you would make eye contact with special someone, like blinky, blinky, blinky. And then once they've made eye contact with you, you would take your glove and you drop it. And that was how you flirt with someone back in the day. If the boy liked you, he would go over and pick up the glove. He's like, oh, my dear, your glove. He's like, oh, giggle, giggle, giggle. And you pull the glove back on. And this became your way of trying to talk to each other. And that was your way of indicating it. If the guy didn't like you, you'd be like, hey, girl. And he'd kick your glove at you. Like, you dropped something. You'd be like, oh, and like all of a sudden from that issue. So that was your way of knowing where you stand nowadays. Now, I don't recommend girls doing this now. As you like walk down the hallway and you see like that special guy, you're like, hey, and you drop your glove. They're like, freak, and just keep going. But back in the day, this was pro flirting techniques. Sophia, you look confused. Are you okay, Sophia? How could this possibly be confusing? Glove flirting was totally a thing.
Well, I was just like, what is the point of dropping your glove and when you make eye contact with them and they just drop your glove? Like wouldn't you think, oh, well, I'm smart enough to not drop my glove when I take it off?
You might not know this, but sometimes when people are flirting, they don't always make the best choices. Sometimes they're kind of special. And that's usually, it's that way of being like that special way of breaking the ice when you make the eye contact, as opposed to being like, hey, that makes different. Back the day, I don't know. Old people are weird. That's all I can tell you. It was a glove droppy thing. So
well, isn't
anyway,
it just like, isn't it dumb if you just drop your glove, they doesn't come over and pick it up, and then you just have to pick it up yourself?
Yes, I'm not arguing with that at all. Kyra, why are you wanting to yell at me also, Kyra?
Is that glove from your princess costume?
It's not important who has princess costumes in my house. What's important is that we have it now. So our particular girl comes up with a genius idea. Does the girl know that Count Dolores likes her? Yes, because the very first stanza, we already said that he's doing creepy sigh thing, where Count Dolores is already doing the whole and staring at her. Now the thing is, he's the hottest guy there, and he has a crush on her. But it doesn't count if you don't make the other girls feel bad. So she comes up with a plan. So instead of just dropping her glove, She goes to extreme glove dropping. And what extreme glove dropping does she do?
She drops into the Coliseum.
Why drop it into the Coliseum?
Because that's where all the deadly and death-defying lions
That's where the lions are. So what does that show all the other girls?
that she is going to make him do something that she's going to make him risk his life for her.
There you go. So it's just to show all the other girls how hot she is. So she's basically throwing her hotness into all of their faces. And she's like, look, you see Hottie Dude? Hottie Dude not only likes me more than you, he's going to go down there and fight lions for me because of that. She's like, so I'm better than you, I'm better than you, I'm better than you. So she has this great idea of taking her glove and chucking her glove down there among the lions. So she looks at him, makes eye contact, bats her eyes, and it's like, oh no, I dropped my glove. And then down the glove goes down into the lion pit, and then looks over at him and does the whole, oh, I wish a big strong man would go get it. And then looks at him. Kyra, you look like you want to yell at me again.
So this could have all been done and like said and done a lot quicker if she just would have thrown the girls in the Coliseum instead of the glove.
Wow.
Exactly.
Someone's already embracing their whole pride of lions attacking each other thing.
Wow, you're brutal.
So then we get to stanza 4, and things do not go the way that we expect. She dropped her glove to prove his love, then looked at him and smiled. He bowed and in a moment leaped among the lions wild. The leap was quick, return was quick, he has regained his place. Then threw the glove, but not with love, right in the lady's face. By heaven, said Francis, rightly done. He rose from where he sat. No love, quoth he, but vanity sets love a task like that. So, you guys know what vanity is? I mean, you
Vain.
should. I say you have me as a teacher. So if you have me as a teacher, you should know what vanity is. Wow, no, but a good try. Vanity is where you think you're all that and a bag of chips. It comes from the word vain. There's also a thing called a vanity, which is like a mirror that you set in front of me. I get to stare at yourself. So I have apparently been accused of vanity at times in my life because I, as a kid today, said, Mr. Broviak, why are all the pictures in your room of you? I'm like, well, because who else would they be picked? Ledford, don't nod your head so enthusiastically. Down, child. As soon as I thought me being vain, like, oh God, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm right here. I could see it, make a grown man cry. I'm not going to cry. I have no emotions. We have the fact that it's vanity. So she throws glove down there. What does man do? So he jumps. She goes, oh, so he jumps down, grabs glove, comes back up with glove. Does he give her glove? Yeah, oh, he gives her glove, all right. And smack, throws the glove right into her face, which makes her upset. Now, the question becomes, thank you for my animation. Why does he throw the glove in her face? Why is he mad at her?
Because she made him go get the glove and a pin of mine.
Does she love him?
No.
No. Who does she love?
His face.
For her to do that, the question is she does not love, she loves somebody.
Just
No.
not him.
But think about it. If she loved him, would she risk his, if you love your baby brother, you go, baby brother, here's some lions. You just chuck him in there. Like, I love you. Oh, wow. And so if you love somebody, you don't chuck them into a pit of lions. She does not love the king either, but you're getting not the lions. Who does she think the most important person is? So who does she love? Nicely done. She loves herself. And that's the vanity. Much like me, she loves herself. And so he realizes that. He's like, oh, you don't care about me. You care about you. But then the question comes up, but Mr. Broviak, does he know that? Does he know that? Yeah. He know dum-dum. Then why go down there? Well, think about it. If he doesn't go down there, as soon as she throws the glove, if he goes, that sucks to be you, and just backs up, what does everyone think about him? That he's no longer brave. But that's not where the issue comes in. He's brave. So he jumps down there, ninja punches a couple of the different lions in the head. He's like, ninja punch, ninja punch. It knocks the lions out and then climbs back up. Once he does that one, now we know it's not a bravery issue. So now that he's proved he's not brave and he throws it into her face, now what do all the other women think about him? No. Does that make him more desirable or less desirable?
Yes, it makes it more desirable.
There you go, because now they're all the other women are like, oh, he's brave and he's not a dum-dum and he doesn't like her and he's available. So all of a sudden his stock just rose with all the hot girls that are there. And now he has all the numbers. They're just throwing their phone numbers at him. They're like, here's my numbers. And they're just throwing them at him. And it's just great. Sorry. Here's my Snapchat. And they're just throwing their Snapchats at him. And he was like, it's raining Snapchats. And he was like, this is so awkward. I don't know what Snapchats are. But it works because the chicks dig him because he ain't no dum-dum. That was my fun poem for you about flirting way back in the whatever year that was, and throwing gloves at people, which is always fun. Me too. Here's the last thing I'm happy with. We're going to bleed over till Wednesday, which is called Battle Haiku. If you can, on your paper, there's my blower has Glove and the Lions, you have a spot on there to write a haiku. You do. You don't have to, but I will give you time on Wednesday if you want to write a haiku. But your haiku has to insult either a famous person. Stay out. Please, out. I'm still teaching. You just came back from lunch. Has to either insult a famous person or you have to attack me. It is your choice one way or the other. And then you get to read it out loud and I will give you B points for it. We'll talk about it again on Wednesday. You're more than welcome. Stay out, kids. Still me teaching. If you're rye, that goes in plastic recycling. That's trash. That's plastic recycling. Sorry, we have 6th period kids who are really excited to learn. Like, we heard you're talking about flirting and slapping women. They're all trying to come running in here. You know how kids are nowadays. All right. Now, we're done with you guys. Go away. I have other kids to deal with. So many issues.
Toots.